Welcome back to The Big Show. It's Alex Belfield talking to my favourite people and the country's biggest stars. And there's one that everybody loves. Alad Jones, how are you?
I'm not bad. Thank you very much for that build-up.
I was listening to Steve Wright yesterday and he was playing a promo of yours on Radio 2 and he was being a bit snotty and he said Mr. Snowman and all that. You must get sick of that.
Well, I expect it from Steve. You know, he's on a percentage of all my album sales. So, he's a good mate of mine. And actually, he's been a real support for me over the years. I was in with him yesterday, teasing him quite a lot.
He's one of those people that can get away with anything, and I think you're like that because people like you. You can't buy that, can you, really?
Well, I don't think Steve would ever get away with being on Strictly Come Dancing, but other than that, yeah, I think he can get away with anything.
Strictly Come Wobbling, now he's up for that.
I couldn't possibly comment.
How's he doing at the minute? Because I saw a picture of him, I think, in the Daily Mail, where he was 750 pounds. He was almost bigger than Vanessa Feltz, and then he seemed to lose a few pounds. How's he doing?
Yeah, he looks great. He's the same as always. You know, he's probably one of the greatest broadcasters ever. I've learnt a lot from hanging around with people like him and Terry Wogan. You know, there's a family atmosphere on Radio 2, and everyone sort of looks out for one another. And you know, I've been doing the last 6 weeks. I've been doing earlies on Radio 2, and it's great. You know, handing over to Chris or whoever's doing the program. And as I say, you know, it doesn't feel stressed at any cost. You know, it's very natural. It's just a good fun.
And in terms of those you hand over to, I mean, you alluded to Mr. Evans there. He was on the programme last week, and it's always nice to see him. But you're kind of in the presence of genius and a man that his personality goes before him. Do you ever lose your confidence and think, why me?
No, I never think that, to be honest with you. You know, I've been with Radio 2 for almost 5 years now, so, I think I've paid my dues. I'm very lucky with my Sunday show because lots of people get a lot out of it, and that's a bonus, really. It's not just a kind of a flippant kind of show that's just thrown together. You know, it's more than that, really, and people find some sort of spiritual and uplifting comfort from it. So, I never think that, you know, but, you know, if I can hand over to Terry Wogan, then I can most definitely hand over to Chris Evans.
And in terms of your past, I mean, we met a little while before you did Strictly.
Yes.
And then we met just after you'd done Strictly, and I didn't recognise you. I walked straight past you. You'd lost about 17 stone.
Yeah, the good news is I've put it back on, so don't worry, you'll recognise me now, okay? Well, Strictly does that for you. I think quite a few celebs this year have found out that, you know, it's much better than going to the gym, because actually, you know, you have to work 6 or 7 hours a day just to get the dances into your head and into your feet. So invariably you will lose weight, you know, and it changed me beyond belief. You know, I remember the first week doing a photo session and thinking, oh my God, this lycra is like hanging over my belt and I'm looking really fat and awful. And, you know, 4 weeks into the programme, I'm saying, can I have it tighter in white or maybe pink, more jewels, and also the V to go right down to my chest, bottom of my belly button.
And the current Mrs. Jones, I know she was very impressed by it as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, they love the programme, all the kids do, and we all watch it on Saturday night. You know, it's good family entertainment, and I'm just thankful all the time that I'm not in it this series because the men are brilliant.
I'll tell you what I love about you and your PR is that you're a proper celebrity. You don't go in for the cheap headlines. You're not falling out of clubs and doing any of that nonsense. Are you happy with your lot in show business? I mean, you're national, you've got Songs of Praise, you've got this, that and the other thing around the country with the radio. You've created a wonderful niche.
Yeah, I don't even think about it, to be honest with you. Even when you were saying that, then I had sort of sweaty palms, really, because I just get up in the morning and do what I do, you know. I don't even really think of myself as a celebrity. I think of myself as a kid who used to sing a bit and was very lucky at the right place, the right time, did 16 albums, and somehow is still singing and doing concerts and releasing albums. And you know, I'm very lucky to do the TV and the radio work. I love doing Songs of Praise because it's a BBC programme that's done really well, and it reaches out to so many people around the world. And equally, I love doing Escapes of the Country, Cash in the Attic, because it's winging it, you know. This is what I love. I love the fact that I can just turn up and just be myself and talk to people and find out things about them and hopefully have a good time. You
see, I'm not comfortable with that. That's why I have to script every word during this interview.
I don't believe that.
It gets nervous otherwise. This time of year, I tell you, I love that Songs of Praise, and more because it takes me back to a better place, a better time with my gran, who I love dearly, no longer with us. It never changes. It's consistent. It's there every week and of the same quality. And in many cases, especially this time of year, tells the story of Christmas in the same way, but we just can't live without it. Congratulations.
Well, it's nothing to do with me, to be honest with you. You know, there's a massive team up in Manchester, and I'm just kind of the spokesman for it occasionally, if you like. I'm very lucky that I am the main presenter of Songs of Praise. I do about 26 of them a year. And yeah, at Christmas, it's amazing, because one week they'll have a programme from the Royal Albert Hall, which I presented, which is on Boxing Day. So it's got 6,000 people singing these Christmas carols. Amazing. You know, people like Misha Paris there, Gareth Gates singing, Russ Russell Watson, all those sort of people. But then equally, a week before, we might be in a tiny little church somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but where you're getting equally the Christmas spirit, you know. And whether you watch Songs of Praise because it's the world's largest karaoke and you just like singing along with the carols, or you watch it for the stories, then it's got something for everyone. You know, it's almost like the holiday programme without the sun.
Yes, that's a wonderful way of putting it. And the big sings are tremendous. We're going to talk about those next. We're going to take a song, though, from your new album, Allad's Christmas Gift. I noticed it hasn't got the snowman on it. What happened there, then?
Well, I've done that, haven't I? I've released it on quite a few albums before, and this album is a different feel, if you like. This album I've been involved in from the beginning, you know, the track listing, who performs on it, the styling, the design of it. And I would say out of the 28 albums I've done, this is by far the best one, or the one that's got more me on it, as in more of the feeling, the emotion and stuff I can put into the tracks. So, you know, it's very lush. There are unaccompanied songs with choirs. There's a 5-part harmony of just me singing Son's Day Carol, which is quite freaky, but also up-tempo numbers like Mary Did You Know as well, which is the first track on the album, which I'd love you to play, because that's got kind of an uplifting kind of feel to it, and it's a lovely carol that maybe people don't know.
And again, you've brought something new to it. You don't want to be one of those artists that just gets backing tracks and just bring out the same album every year. You've certainly not done that with this. Special guests on there and beautiful arrangements. Does that take a long time? Are you recording this in March or something?
No, I wasn't. The whole thing for me took 3 days to record, but the team, yeah, it takes a while. You know, we were doing it August, really, so it was a heat wave outside and I'm singing in the bleak midwinter. But, you know, these are songs that I've sung ever since I was at primary school. I remember for the first time being like cross-legged in Llandegfan Primary School in the hall, which was tiny, probably bigger than the studio I'm in now. And you know, the smell of the Christmas lunch coming through the shutters of the canteen as they're preparing it, and hearing things like Away in the Manger for the first time and thinking to myself, God, this tune is amazing. It's making me feel so good, sing this. And having to try and capture that feeling now as an adult as well. And you know, that's why I want to do these pieces of music. They've stood the test of time. You know, they are the equivalent to the ultimate take that hit, if you like. Let's see if we're still singing those in 200 years, you know?
Exactly. Can we do what we've done a million times before and talk about your past? Because as you know, I'm not like you. I get fired from every radio station I go to, so we're going to have to do this again. Going back to the Aled Jones little kid singing Snowman Days, you were always blessed with an amazing voice. Can you remember when people noticed that actually you'd got something exceptional? How old were you?
I don't know, really. I'd sung in the cathedral choir all the time, so since the age of 9. And there was always a lady in the congregation there that always nagged my mum and dad to record my voice. And invariably, my mum would come in with a huge ghetto blaster and push play and record just as I was about to launch into Oh for the Wings of a Dove. And I'd give her a hateful look, you know, thinking, shush. And so the lady got miffed and wrote to a local recording company without us knowing. And first I knew was an offer to do an album, which I did, thinking nothing of it. It was just supposed to be sold in Wales. And a BBC exec from London was looking for a soloist to go out to Israel to make 3 big television programmes for the BBC, heard the album, asked me to do it, and the rest was history, really.
It's really interesting when you look back at the history of classical music and popular classical music. You were the first, weren't you? When I think of all the people I have on week after week now, the brilliant Russell Watson and the adorable Catherine and people like that, you were doing it way before then, bringing out popular classical music.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I was always invited to the Rock and Pop Awards, which are now the Brits, of course, and it was always me, Pavarotti, and Julian Lloyd Webber. And we were the token classical people, if you like. Whereas now, you know, the crossover or classical side of things is probably bigger business than the pop and rock. So I don't know. I was just lucky, you know. Imagine going to a Rock and Pop Awards when you're 12 years old. It was brilliant. I remember sitting on the table with Boy George, and my mum was sitting next to Roger Daltrey. We were both happy.
Did they behave themselves?
Who, my mum and Roger Daltrey? I can't possibly comment.
Did you ever resent the success you had? Because you were kind of that Charlotte Church figure, weren't you? That international megastar.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Thanks, guys.
Does it ever bother you that people want to talk to you about it? Because it would be a shame that you'd resent something that we all dearly love.
No, not at all. What's the point? You know, lots of parts of me thinks that I wouldn't be doing now what I'm doing if it wasn't for the boy. So, you know, it's like people say, oh, don't you hate walking in the air? Well, there was a time when I was at college where it was pretty tricky, where my mates used to put it on pub jukeboxes all the time, or if I was in a department store, and all I've got to hear is those bells going ding, ding, and ding, 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 and I'd be straight out of there. But, you know, I didn't work for quite a while as an adult, so every Christmas walking in the air coming on was a welcome thing.
Was there a moment when you wondered whether you would ever be contemporary and popular again and on the UK's #1 radio station?
No, not really. I'm not sure if contemporary. I don't know, because you're only contemporary for a while, aren't you? So I'd much rather just be myself. And there was definitely a time where I didn't think, I'd be on radio too. But that's a dream come true. Equally working now. I've just finished my 10th year on BBC Radio Wales, which is where I paid my dues, and I still love being part of that radio station as well. Equally Radio 3, and all the TV stuff I do. I never plan ahead. So next year, who knows what'll happen? I know for a fact that I'll be on Radio 2, Radio 3 and Radio Wales, but and on the TVs I'm doing now. But, something else might happen. Who knows?
Would you mind being less good? I'm trying to get on in this business and find work somewhere. It doesn't help when people like you are hogging everything.
You're doing very well yourself, so shush now. And also, you wouldn't want to do Clash in the Attic. You get a lot of dust into your throat, and it's a tough job, It
can itch, can't it, when you go in those old lofts, especially if they haven't got the boards down. All right, we're going to play more tracks from Alladins' Christmas Gift, his brand new album that's out now. You are so associated with Christmas. Please tell me you love it as much as we do.
Oh, what's there not to love? Absolutely. And this is from somebody who has a birthday 4 days after as well, and very often got one present instead of two.
Yes.
I love Christmas. I love the whole fact that even if you haven't spoken to your family for a year, and I'm not talking about mine now, even if things are wrong in your life, Christmas seems to bring everyone together. There's that feeling of warmth, of love, and the fact that you get presents as well. I love Christmas. I love the fact that I can close my door when work is done and be with family and see the joy and happiness in my kids' eyes to start with as they're opening the wrapper, and then the great disappointment when I haven't got them what they want.
Tell me about them now, because I think the last time we met face to face, they were babies. How old are they?
One's 17. No, Amelia's 8, and Lucas is 5.
Yeah, that's it, because it was around the Strictly time. It was all going on for you, wasn't it?
I don't know what you mean by going on. It was going on in one sense, yes. Lucas is 5, and I did Strictly 5.5 years ago.
That'll be it then.
It was, Strictly was a mad time in my life, and part of me wishes I would do it now. I know I said I don't as well because they're better, but Amelia especially is glued to the programme, and if I was on it now, I think it would be the highlight of her life.
You've never gone down the cheaper route of Big Brothers and things like that. Is that deliberate and intentional, or have they never offered it?
They have offered it, and thankfully at the moment I don't need the money, but never say never. So I don't think I could go into the jungle because I'm not very good with snakes or scorpions. I don't mind eating them, but just being in a wooden box with them, I don't really fancy it.
No, I'm the same as you. Don't talk to me about snakes. I worked in commercial radio for a while, and it didn't suit. In terms of your life now, how does that Songs of Praise work? Because some weeks you're on, some weeks you're not. I love that one just before Christmas, the Sunday before. It's always beautiful. Do you compete for the big festivals?
No, not at all. I get what I'm given. I'm in Sheffield this week and finishing off a Christmas programme as well. It just, I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. I get a call saying be there or be square, and I turn up and just do it. So, I've been all over the place this year. I've been all around the country. I've even been to South Africa to do a couple of Songs of Praises as well. That was in the middle of the ash cloud. So I literally flew out and overnight, and then the next morning started filming. So it was there for 2 days, did 2 programmes and flew back. So it definitely wasn't glamorous in any way. But, the Songs of Praises are great because I do get to spend quite a bit of time in certain areas, and you get to know the area quite well.
How the public with you? I can't imagine there's anything but affection, because you're very, very popular with Middle England, with young people, with old people across the board. I can't imagine that people are nasty to you in the streets as they are with me.
They're not, are they? I hope not. No, people are great with me. They're lovely. I tend not to get recognised a lot, which is I quite like that.
Really?
I keep my head down, really, to be honest with you. I don't court the whole fame side of things. I'm quite happy being living the quiet life, to be honest with you. And the public have always been lovely, and long may it last. And especially a programme like Songs of Praise, because people are there to have a good time. So so you just immerse yourself in that, really.
And in terms of your life now, where are you living? Because obviously you work out of London a lot. Are you still in Wales, or where are you?
No, I live in London. I've lived in London since I was 18 now, and I'm 39, so you do the maths. But I have to live in London because of the radio commitments to start with, because I'm live on Radio 2 on Sundays. So for 3 weeks out of the 4 I'm in London, and then the other week I'm in Manchester.
I can work this out. Hang on, 18 plus 2 is 20.
Yeah.
plus 10 is 30, plus 9, 19, 21 years, I think.
There you go. Do you know what? I'm glad you worked that out, because honestly, my 8-year-old is better than me at maths. My excuse is that I was recording albums, but the science and the maths thing, I am totally hopeless at, and thank God that my wife is good at it, because literally Amelia asked me to help her with her maths. I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and she came back, she had 3 wrong answers.
No greater insult, is there? No. Here, Aled, always nice to talk to you. Thanks so much for doing the show again. This new album is tremendous, and I love Christmas albums. It's mostly an American thing. We don't do it a lot over here, and I wish we did it more, and thank you for it.
Hey, listen, thanks for all the support as well, Alex. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. Aled's Christmas Gift is out now. You can hear all his great Christmas tunes. Can we play The Bleak Midwinter? That's probably my favourite Christmas song ever, and you sing it so beautifully.
Yeah, of course you can.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.